and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be One day I'll be
Hey guys, how are we today? It's good to see you guys. That's okay, no problem, Aaron. Hey, Miss Robinson, it's good to see you. How are you? I had this live scheduled for yesterday, and I've never had to postpone a live stream. I think there was one time I did because it was about an unsolved homicide, and it happened to be the same day as the victim's funeral service, so I didn't feel right about that. So that's the only other time that I can think that I've ever had to reschedule. But yesterday there was no hope. I had no Wi Fi for about 12 hours yesterday, and I still don't know. We called them, and they like to say, well, it's not our fault, it's the source, whatever that means. I don't know. But, anyways, and I was still trying to do research and get all my stuff together, and just in case it came back on, and my phone was so slow, and it's like you really realize what you got, when it's gone. And I know this is like petty and stuff, but I'm just saying that I'm sorry that I had to postpone. But everything happens for a reason, right? Yesterday I was going to tell you guys about Kylie, and she was still missing, but last night she was unfortunately found deceased, and her boyfriend has been charged in her murder. But we'll go through all of that. But first, I want to tell you guys. You guys know at the end of my streams, I always try to do a story with a good outcome. Well, now I thought that at the beginning I could showcase somebody that is missing, and this is 16-year-old Nyla, and she is absolutely beautiful. And her I found her mama on Facebook, and she's saying that there's different stories out there like that she was a runaway and things like that, and she says no, that she absolutely does not believe that. Hey Tony, happy Wednesday. How are you? And Teacup Cracking afternoon. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. And she's 16 with dark brown, black hair, brown eyes, 5 feet 2 inches tall, and 120 pounds. So a little bitty girl. And what makes her case so unique is that She has a brain tumor and a history of seizures, and she is without her medication. So it's very, very urgent. And if you know where she is, it's you call Detective E. Allen with the South Fulton Police Department at 470-693-2707. And it says she was last seen on July 27th, 2025, around 12:30 a.m. near Roosevelt Highway and Mallory Road in South Fulton, Georgia. She was wearing a blue Lilo and Stitch hoodie and black shoes. So it's been almost a month now, you guys, 3 weeks. So it's very, very imperative that she's found. And I have a few more pictures of her. She's an absolutely beautiful young lady. Stunning. Yeah. And then here's her with a different hairstylist. So if you guys know where she is, please call the South Fulton Police Department. Okay, so now that brings us to today. First, I just want to tell you guys about Kylee. Um, just starting her life, you guys, 18 years old. Let me pull up my folder. And then today, you guys, it started storming here a little bit, and I thought, man, if my Wi-Fi goes out and I have to postpone again today, it makes me nervous, you guys. I Plus I had Kylie on my heart a whole lot yesterday, and I don't like to be late, and I don't like to postpone. I just don't like it at all. Um, but this is 18-year-old Kylie. When I was looking at her TikTok, and I saved a few TikToks that I wanted to show you guys today about her, but she said in one of them that she was bullied when she was in grade school because her father passed away. Bless her heart. We need to teach our kids better than that. But so I'm not for sure. It was when she was way younger. And then 5 years ago, her mama passed away. So she moved in with her aunt and uncle to finish high school. And so that's what she did. She graduated 2.5 months ago. So just this year from Attleboro High School. And they made a statement on her passing too. So she did graduate, and her plans were to become a welder, and I have a picture of that too. And I think that's just so cool. You can make a lot of money doing that, and I know that the underwater ones, they make like a whole lot of money. But and she, even though, and she was 11 weeks pregnant when she went missing, you guys, and her friends say even though that had kind of put those plans on hold a little bit, she was still she was making plans, as a mama, and she was still going to do that, fulfill her dream. And there she was. I got this on her Facebook. So this was last year in August, about a year ago. And and this is for some kind of summer camp. Unique Metalworks, hosted by Unique Metalworks. I love when people, when for their hobby or their occupation, they just they love it, and they seem really, really interested in it. And it's not just a job, and that's what it kind of seemed like with her for welding. And that's another photo of her. And this is her graduation, so just a few months ago. Um, and then she met Greg Groom. She met him, well, from the court papers that I have today. He says they met in February, but from what I could see, they met in March 2025, so not that very long ago. And this is from her TikTok too, and it says, "I'm gonna love you till my lungs give out." And he is 22 years old, so a little bit older than her. And they went to prom together. This is on a post. She said her mama would have loved her prom dress. She would have loved that color, and that hit my heart. And From what I can tell you guys, this looks like outside the shed at his house, and I think this where is where the murder occurred. Actually, um, she was last seen on August 7th. Um, she had been staying at a home. It's like a shelter for pregnant women for the last 3 weeks, and her sister said she had to go to the hospital because she was having bleeding, and that she missed at these shelters like this. They have certain rules that you have to follow. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to follow them. And she missed the 6 a.m. mandatory meeting that day, her sister said, and so they had kicked her out. So she took an Uber back to Greg's house to get some of her belongings. And so that was on the 6th. And one of her sisters spoke to her by phone on the 6th, and she did hear her voice. On the 7th, somebody received a text from her. And on the 8th, Greg said he woke up and she was missing. And so he's the one that actually reported her missing on the 8th. He said that oh, and let me tell you what her sister said about her, too. She said she's wonderful. She's very friendly and affectionate, outgoing yet a bit shy. She doesn't possess the skills to survive on her own, that's certain. She also said Kylee is kind and loves people. So she had been missing officially since the 8th when he reported her missing, and she was just found yesterday. And so her sisters had been advocating for her to be found. From what I can tell from the paperwork, it seems like law enforcement really, really dug in and started to investigate a whole lot on the 11th. Um, but they did a good job. Um, Teacup Kraken says one of my close friends lives down the road from this monster. Wow. Wow. He is absolutely a monster. And sometimes hey, True Crime Karen, it's good to see you. How are you? Usually I try to hold my feelings and just tell you guys the facts, but this one I can't, especially after I read the paperwork that came out this morning. And then I heard at court what happened, and I think you guys will agree with me and Teacup Kraken that he is absolutely a monster. Um, and so yep, she took an Uber to his house on Wednesday, and so when he reported her missing, that's when everything began really on the 8th. And I think she has 3 sisters from what I can tell, and 2 of her sisters were really outspoken, Faith and Catherine, who went by Kitty, and I have some videos of them. Faith said, this is not like her at all. This is completely unusual and very scary to say the least. She said that Kylee and her boyfriend had been off and on, and there had been quote unquote domestic issues in the relationship, including an altercation that allegedly occurred the night before she disappeared. And hey, Nature Rocks, good to see you. How are you? Um, that's Let me show you guys this poster too. I shared this poster on my Facebook, and I think that I shared it on my community tab too. Um, so please look there, you guys, and share what you can and help me, because, like I always tell you guys, we don't need to go viral. We just don't know the ripple that we could cause. And actually, you guys, when I shared this on Facebook, a local, I don't think she'd actually even heard about Kylee, and she offered to share flyers. She said she had a flexible schedule, and she asked me if they were sharing flyers and what day that she could help and stuff like that. And I don't have many followers at all on Facebook, you guys, and she saw it. So we never know, you know? Um, and both of her sisters shared this. So that led me to believe that this was accurate. And it says, down here is the part that I wanted us to look at. It says family reports there was an altercation that became physical that day, during which she mentioned a bump on her head. And that made me even more concerned when I saw that part. You could tell that the sisters, in my opinion, they were trying to not point a finger at Greg. They were trying to be kind so he could help, I think. And when we read the paperwork, it was actually her sister Faith that actually got him to come back into the police department when he ended up confessing. Um, so there's a few videos that I wanted to show you guys of her sisters before she was found. Um, so we can kind of see what it was like before she was found. I mean, yeah, before she was found. That's my notes. I leave me notes on the videos so that I can tell what the videos are about so that I
Very happy. She was 11. She would.
which. And I always share I drop the links to the videos in the chat if anybody wants to watch them later. Hey Chroma Chronicles, how are you? It's good to see you. So I think that the first sister that speaks, I'm not for sure if it's Faith or Kitty, but it was Faith that ended up talking him into going back to the police department the second time. The first time he went, um, decided to stop speaking to
She was
them.
very happy. She was 11. She would be 11 weeks pregnant this week.
The sisters of a missing local 18-year-old woman who's pregnant reveals new details on her mysterious disappearance. Kylee Monteiro has not been seen in more than a week. She was reported missing by her boyfriend. Kylie's sisters are desperate for answers as police continue to search Rehoboth, where she was last seen. The night team's Sam Reed joins us live now from Rehoboth. Sam?
Patrice, 18-year-old Kylee Monteiro is one of several siblings. Tonight, two of her sisters telling me that her disappearance is completely out of character and that they fear for her safety.
This is not normal behavior. We have no clue what happened.
It's been 8 days since anyone has seen or heard from 18-year-old Kylee Monteiro, who was last seen on August 7th near County Street in Rehoboth.
The last time we heard her voice was Wednesday night, but last point of contact was Thursday through text.
Her sisters telling NBC 10 that she wandered away Thursday night from her estranged boyfriend's house.
And he lived, I don't, I looked it up on a map and I can't tell distances very well, but he lived very, very close to this reservoir, and I was so afraid that she would have been in there and not been found. They had divers in the area and they searched this really, really well, but I was very worried about that too.
That borders the reservoir, the same area law enforcement have been searching for days.
He woke up Friday morning and realized that she wasn't there. He got worried and contacted the police.
Roughly 5 years ago, after her mom's passing, her sisters say she moved in with her aunt and uncle in Attleboro, where she graduated high school. In March, she met her boyfriend, moved in with him, and became pregnant. Things have been on and off ever since.
She was staying with me previous to the home. It was a shelter for homeless pregnant women in Pembroke, Mass. It's called Bethesda House, and she stayed there for about 3 weeks, and she had been kicked out because she had to go to the hospital the day before because she had vaginal bleeding. She didn't get back till 6 in the morning, and she missed the mandatory morning.
I know that places like this, they have to have rules. They absolutely have to have rules. But it seems like if she had a doctor's excuse and she was absolutely at the hospital like that, that they could have made an exception, you know. but I bet that they will carry that regret with them, the rest of their days. But it's just really sad.
Morning meeting.
They say that's how she recently ended up back in Rehoboth. What do you think happened to your sister?
We really don't know. We have no clue. But none of it adds up, because knowing her and her personality and how she was, this is very scary.
With plans of parenting in the future, they say despite rough circumstances, Kylee was eager to become a mom.
So happy. She said if it was a girl, she was going to name her Eleanor.
They say they believe the same can be said for her unborn child's father, who has been at the center of speculation.
We don't know how he feels, but he has an unborn baby out there. He's worried sick, I bet.
Having not
See, that's what I was telling you guys, that, and how sad, you guys. We also have to remember that that it's not only her life that was taken, but the baby she was going to name Eleanor, she was taken too. Teacup Kraken says Rehoboth is a very quiet, upscale rural town. That's what it looks like. The houses in his neighborhood looked really nice, and his family actually owned either 24 or 26 acres there. It looked really nice. Ain't that the truth, Teacup? That's absolutely the truth. Oh, and what I was going to say, you guys, with the sisters, at first I think he was speaking to them and they went looking one day, but then he kind of ghosted them, saying that he was getting death threats and stuff like that. So I think he even stopped helping them after a few days.
heard from her for days, optimism has turned to fear for their sister and her unborn child.
So it's been absolutely nerve-wracking not knowing where she is and not knowing, when's the last time she ate, when's the last time she, slept, is she okay?
The sisters tell me while they don't know where the search stands with local law enforcement, they plan to search for Kylee until she's found. Anyone with information on the disappearance of Kylee is asked to contact the Rehoboth Police Department. Live in Rehoboth tonight, Sam Reed, NBC 10.
And there were a lot of law enforcement in the area the first few days. And then a neighbor said that they came by her house asking on that Saturday, I think, asking for surveillance footage. So they kind of switched their techniques. You guys know how they do. They're out and about the first few days, and then they switch more to the investigative side. Let me see here. So now I will play another one from the sisters speaking. So they're not taking interviews right now, of course. But they did leave. One of them left a Facebook message that I'll read to you guys in just a little bit too. Yeah, it did look like a very nice neighborhood. I had to come back and get you guys. Click, click, click.
Yeah, Erica, her family, they're obviously distraught. They're hoping that she's staying in a shelter or with a friend, and police spent much of the day here searching for her. Right now, search and rescue teams are looking from the air and on the ground for a missing 18-year-old woman. Police say Kylee Monteiro was last seen or heard from almost a week ago. Her sister is worried.
That's the last contact that she's made with anyone was Thursday through text message. The last known time where we heard her voice was Wednesday night.
Kylie's sister says she's just 11 weeks pregnant. Her friend says she's living with her boyfriend.
Me and her had spoken Wednesday evening, and she was just talking about how she was in a little argument with her boyfriend. She was like, I don't feel safe right now, like something's not right. And then I had tried talking to her after that, and she just stopped responding to me after that.
Officers.
Yeah, I think that it was the same day that it was on the 6th when she first got to her boyfriend's house. She had texted some of her friends and family members that she didn't feel safe. And when we read the court paperwork, it was actually a lot worse than that. Her sister was going to send a car to pick her up, but she had refused. She didn't want that. So they didn't hear from her anymore on the night of the 6th. But on the 7th, she had texted one of her sisters and said that her and Greg were going out to eat, and she would text them later. So didn't speak anything about the altercation the night before. And in my opinion, those texts were not from her. Um, and so it at first he was charged for that assault on her before they found her body.
Sheriff's deputies and troopers spending much of today and the week scouring the woods next to a reservoir in town near County Street where she was last seen. Neighbors hoping she's just run away.
She's disappeared Lord knows where. You'd hope that maybe she's gone someplace or has some people who could help her out, but she's just laying low and being quiet because she's either too upset or afraid.
Monteiro just graduated from Attleboro High School. Her friends and family desperate to find her.
I just want her to know that, like, we miss you, and we're not gonna stop trying to find you.
We're really scared. I have my daughter who's only 3. She misses her TT. We all miss her, and we just want to know she's safe. We want her to come home.
Now, Monteiro was last seen wearing a shirt that said "Get Over It" printed on the front. It was a red shirt. She was also known to carry a white duffel bag that may contain her belongings. If you know anything about her disappearance, you have to give Rehoboth police a call. We're live here in Rehoboth this evening.
Hey Trista, it's so good to see you. How are you? Are you having a good day at work? Teacup Kraken says, my friends reached out to the sisters a few days ago to offer any help. At that time, the sister was hoping she was hiding at a shelter. Yeah, that's what I was hoping too. I really, really was praying for that. She did have such a hard life, and so far, but she had a whole life ahead of her. She had plans, you know. Um, I saved a few TikToks of hers that shows her and Greg together, which the sister said that there was domestic issues, and why else would she be staying at the shelter if there wasn't? But of course, from TikTok, you can't tell that. But this is when she announced that she was pregnant. So 7/17, baby Groom coming to a big heart near you. Oh, mommy and daddy already love you so much, Peanut. Oh my goodness. So she just made her pregnancy announcement a little over a month ago. And what, 2 weeks before she went missing? The last she was seen was on August the 6th. Mm-mm. I'm not going to, it says, I found, it says, you look happier now. Thanks, I found a man who treats me like gold. Well, we know that wasn't true. Maybe he did at first, but we know that wasn't true by the end. And they're dancing together. And there he is. I found a few of them together. I didn't want to go to TikTok and play it from there because I got my Facebook notifications turned off. So if anybody sends me messages or calls me, it won't come through when I'm live. But I'm not sure if I did that about TikTok yet. So I would hate to dox somebody. Hey, Neat Noodle, good to see you. How are you? You doing all right today, Carl? It's good to see you too. It's good to see all you guys. So here is another one. I'm going to mute these because I don't care. I'm not monetized, but I don't care if they would take copyright anyways, but I just don't want them to take parts of my video out, you know. And here she is, and you could tell on her TikTok she had so many friends. She was always doing stuff with her friends, and just a young carefree 18-year-old, you know. Really pretty. And then there's the monster. There's 22-year-old Gregory Groom. And let me tell you guys his new charges. Yesterday, before they found her, he was initially charged with aggravated assault and battery on a pregnant woman, domestic assault and battery, and intimidation of a witness. So he has tried to intimidate a witness in this case, too. And then this morning, when he was in court, it was for murder, assault and battery on a pregnant victim, aggravated intimidation of a witness. So that has went from just intimidation of a witness to aggravated intimidation of a witness, and assault and battery on a family or household member. He sure does, Teacup. You got that right. He sure does. And I only have a black and white booking photo of him, but he looks awful in that too. True Crime Karen says, just a reminder for everyone, the first raised voice or hand contact is just the start. It does not get better. They are just testing their power and what they can get away with. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Debbie, yeah, they yesterday I had it live scheduled so that I could put out more information about her being missing, and my Wi-Fi was out all day, and last night they found her deceased. Yep. Yep, Rehoboth, Massachusetts, and I think it's about, correct me if I'm wrong, Kraken, an hour and a half south of Boston. Is that right? So there he is. Uh, and she was so pretty. So pretty. I think that I might have one more.
Faster than fast.
No, we already watched that one. Let's see here. Yeah, we watched that one too. I think it's this one. Huh. Uh-uh. So her sister left the. Oh, here's another picture, you guys. I had this to show you guys because it said that she in the on the posters it said that she could be carrying a white bag with her. So I saved this so that I could mention this. I think this is the bag that they were mentioning, and he's got it on his shoulder there. But look how happy she is. Bless her heart. Um, and her sister yesterday, she left a Facebook post, and it's saying that it says, I'm very much around and reading all your messages. I can't focus long enough to respond, but I promise this isn't me giving up. I'm just a bit burnt out, and it's hard to keep up with everyone at the moment. Things are still in progress, and there will be a vigil this weekend in Rehoboth. Please refer to the Facebook event. All we know right now is that the police have not stopped searching. They are working diligently to get through the info they've been given and are keeping on top of it. As others have said, things like this can last for years, but it's crucial to act as soon as possible. So that's what we did, and we are in it for the long run. Thank you for all the support and help. We will find her, and we refuse to give up. Stubbornness runs in our genes. You guys have been absolutely amazing with your help, and I genuinely appreciate everyone who has said something, even if it seems irrelevant to the situation. Please keep sharing the story and telling people to be aware and to report to Massachusetts State Police or Rehoboth Police. There's also an anonymous tip line out there if you feel uncomfortable going to police, and of course, we are always here, even if we aren't responding right away. Please take care of yourselves, check in on people regularly, and don't go anywhere alone, especially at night. So she left this yesterday before everything happened, and bless her heart, she said she was getting burnt out. That was from Kitty, but at this time, I think is when her sister Faith had talked Greg into going back to the police department. Um, and we'll read what happened there in just a few minutes. The first thing I saw was the charges for the domestic violence incident that happened on the 6th when she first got there, like I was telling you guys. I found this picture too, and I got this from the John DePetro show. He is a local, and he was out on scene and things like that, so I got that from him. But isn't that freaky? It looks like in the same woods behind his house where she was ultimately found at. Um, so then, after they announced the charges, then we saw this from the people on the scene. They are. So it didn't look good, right, guys? I was watching a lot of this live, and I know that's when my heart sank, and I knew that her sister had been out there on the scene too, and she said, "I feel like she's been found after all this was going on, but I don't think that." They couldn't tell anyone until it was positive. But so I went to bed thinking about all of this and just hoping for the best. Neat Noodle says men need to be taught from little boys that it's okay to have emotions. That anger is not the only acceptable way to express themselves, and there are healthy ways to express hurt, fear, and frustration. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that we also have a resource for the perpetrators if they feel like they're about to hurt their spouses, that there are ways out of that. I can't remember the command to drop it right this second, but I think that we do have that, because you're absolutely right. So I went to bed, thinking that there probably wasn't going to be a good outcome. And this morning I woke up and Brat had sent me this, and telling me that she was sorry and everything, that it wasn't good. So it was just a little update that the police did after we saw the excavator going in and everything like that. And so I'll play that for you guys now. Oh no, guys, it's raining. It's raining, and my computer's slow, and it freaks me out. Like I'm gonna lose Wi-Fi. If I happen to, I'll be back. Don't you guys worry. But yeah, teacup cracking. I read that too. We're gonna read that in just a few minutes, and that hit me weird too. Yeah. Yeah, Carl, we know you know that one. That's the only one that you can do. That's the only one that I set for everybody to do.
All set?
Good evening. I'm here with Rehoboth Police Chief Louis DeBacco and investigators involved in this case. 18-year-old Kylee Monteiro was reported missing by the defendant Gregory Groom on Thursday, August 7th of this year. The two had been in a dating relationship. She was last reported seen at 107 County Street in Rehoboth, which is the residence of Gregory Groom. It is also learned that Kylee Monteiro was approximately 11 weeks pregnant. Extensive searches were conducted by various units of the Massachusetts State Police. Based on information obtained during the investigation into Kylee Monteiro's disappearance, police obtained a search warrant for the property at 107 County Street in Rehoboth that was executed starting this afternoon. As a result of the search of the property, human remains consistent with those of Kylee Monteiro have been recovered. We await confirmation from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner.
You could hear everybody in the background there. They were really upset too. I'd say that a lot of them heard the same time that we're hearing right now, and it kind of hits your gut, huh?
The defendant was charged earlier today with assault and battery on a pregnant person, intimidation of a witness, and domestic assault and battery for an alleged incident that occurred on August 6th of this year at 107 County Street. Based on the current state of the evidence that has been obtained during the investigation, Gregory Groom will be charged with the murder of Kylee Monteiro, and the defendant will be arraigned tomorrow in Taunton District Court. I would like to thank all the investigators for their efforts in this case, and certainly that's all I have at this point.
And that's all that they had. They didn't offer to answer any questions or anything like that. Now I want to read to you guys the police summary that I got. I got it on. Usually, I like to wait and get it's called the supplemental narrative. And even when, after we read this, there's more that we learn in court, even from this. Usually, I like to wait and send in for my own paperwork. But since this was just released this morning, and I did verify I saw that one of my other friends was following this person on X, and I did verify with them, and they said that they're spot on. It's Meredith O at Meredith O'Neill on X, and I think that she did a lot with the Karen Reed case too, is what my friend told me. And so I do believe that this paperwork is spot on. I just wanted to tell you guys that because I do usually always send in for my own, but since this all happened so quickly, I didn't have time. And this, I guess that they just get a look at him here, you guys. 22-year-old Gregory Groom. That's his booking photo, and I tried to find. I should have gave you guys a trigger warning for that for sure. Um, Soulless. Even with just this black and white photo, you can tell that he's soulless out of his eyes. Um, yeah, time out the Nightbot, Debbie. It needs a good timeout sometimes. When I first set up my Nightbot, it would time out people for using too many emojis, and it was timing out the mods too. So I had to get that figured out and get it right. So I figured that I would read this to you guys. It says on 8/11/2025, Detective Paul McGovern was assigned to Sergeant Casey to conduct a follow-up investigation related to a past missing persons report. So see you guys, 8/11 is when they probably thought the same things that we did, that she had possibly went to another shelter or been picked up by a friend, and I've also heard conflicting things about her phone, that it had been shut off and it was only a Wi-Fi phone. But then I also saw that it was last pinged at his house. That local fella, that's what he said. But maybe it can ping even if it's turned off, or maybe that's the last time the Wi-Fi was used. I'm not sure, but yeah, it seems like the 11th, so 3 days after she was reported missing, is when they really started to dig in. So it says on 8/8/25 at approximately 07:48 hours, Patrolman Jeffrey Perry was dispatched to 107 County Street for a well-being check. On 8/8/25 at approximately 07:59 hours, Perry arrived on scene. Nicholas Miranda arrived shortly after. Perry spoke with the reporting party, who was identified as Gregory Groom, stated that his ex-girlfriend, so he's even saying ex-girlfriend here right off the bat, who is identified as Kylee M. Monteiro, was 2.5 months pregnant, had walked away from his residence at 8/7/25 at approximately 1900 hours. So what time would that be, you guys? About 8 o'clock or so. According to Groom, he informed her that she could no longer stay with him. Perry said that Groom stated that he and Kylee had an argument about her staying with him, so she left the residence and was last seen walking eastbound on County Street towards Reservoir Avenue. Kylee was last seen wearing a red t-shirt with "Get Over It" printed on the front, ripped blue jeans, and tan boots. Kylee was described as a heavy-set female, 6 feet tall, brown eyes, brown hair tied in a bun. Kylee was carrying a white trash bag with her personal effects inside. Kylee did have a cell phone, but the number had been canceled and only communications through an application using Wi-Fi. Let me see here. Perry said Groom told him that Kylee had left the Bethesda shelter housing in Pembroke, Massachusetts, and was given a ride to 107 County Street. Kylee stayed until 8/7/25 at 1900 hours. On 8/8, Sergeant Jason Ferreira had spoken with Kylee Monteiro's sister, who is identified as Faith Monteiro. Remember, we saw her in a video. Faith said that she had talked with Monteiro through texting with her. Faith said that on 8/6/2025 she had received a text message from Kylee at 7:43 p.m. So about 17 minutes before he said she walked away, which stated the following, quote, "He threw me on the ground and pulled my hair and strangled me. My phone's at 4%. If I die, it was Greg," unquote. I know that, okay, sometimes if I'm going somewhere, or I'm going somewhere that my phone's going to give out, I'll text somebody where I'm going to be, things like that, if I feel nervous. But imagine that times 1,000. She is so scared and texts that to her sister just in case something happens to her. Um, that that makes me, that hurts my heart too. Um, Faith Monteiro said that the last contact with Kylee was on 8/7, so the next day at 1:46 p.m. Quote, "I'm sorry, me, Greg, went to go get food and I'm still here," unquote. Faith replied back, "Are you staying there again tonight?" And then at 3:52 p.m., quote unquote, Kylee replied, "I think so. I don't know. We haven't talked yet. We're waiting till 3." But this was after 3. So I don't know. But in my heart, and from what I can tell, I don't think that was her that, thank you, Carl. Thank you. So he was saying, and, but maybe he didn't know that Kylee had messaged her sister of him choking her and stuff like that. So he made sure to tell the detectives that she walked away 43 minutes before this text, right? Um, Oh my goodness, neat. what's the statistics? Isn't it that that it takes around 7 or 8 times for a victim to really truly get away? Um, I know that they probably think, well, we don't know if the perpetrators actually threaten their family, and if you don't come back to me, I'm going to hurt your mama or your sister, and we don't know if they go back for that reason or money reasons, or they could be hurt like me, and that's their caregiver. There's all kinds of reasons, and I really try not to judge about that. So let me see here. As of 8:11 at approximately 7:45 hours, there hasn't been any contact with Kylee Monteiro since 8/7/25. Kylee hasn't attempted to contact any of her family or friends. Kylee was on social media and used social media platforms to communicate frequently. This was prior to when she had gone missing. Since that time, Kylee has not been on any of the social media platforms that she would frequent. And her sister also said that she wouldn't have walked away in the dark in the woods, that there's no way that she would have done that. Um, on 8/11, I called Greg Groom's phone number and spoke with his grandfather, who said that Greg Groom was at the house. So remember that red shed that we looked at where they took the prom photos? That was behind his house. So maybe that's where he stayed at. Um, so that's what he's saying. Maybe that's what he's implying here. He said he went on to say that he couldn't receive cell phone calls because his cell phone was broken. So that's a coincidence that his cell phone ends up broken, right? It says on 8/11/2025 at approximately 9:54 hours, Sergeant James Casey and I went to 107 County Street to make contact with Greg Groom. We had our Axon body-worn cameras activated. We made contact with Greg Groom, who was sleeping in a shed adjacent to the residence, so that red shed, I believe. I asked Greg Groom about his cell phone. Greg said that it was broken and in the house. I asked Greg to come back to the station for an interview. And then it says the following is a brief summary of the interview with Greg Groom. Interview was dictated by Trooper Ryan Foley. So it says on August 11th, 2025. Yeah, I'm glad you're back, Aaron, and thank you for telling us that it wasn't a bad call that you had to do. That everything was all right. Thank you for telling us that. Um, On August 11th, 2025, Detective Sergeant James Casey and I conducted an audio and video recorded interview with Greg Groom. Greg Groom was advised his Miranda rights. He acknowledged that he understood them both verbally and in writing. He then indicated that he would speak with investigators. At the beginning of his interview, Greg Groom was asked what he likes to do for fun. This is the part that you were telling me about, teacup cracking. Greg Groom indicated that he has practiced martial arts with a friend for the last 6 years. He explained that he does not have formal martial arts training and that he participates in non contact sparring. Greg Groom also indicated that he enjoys fishing with his family members. When asked who resides at 107 County Street, Rehoboth, Greg indicated that he, his brother Reardon Groom, and his grandparents. He continued by explaining that he is currently employed by Hannaford's supermarket, where he has worked for the last 6 months. Greg Groom was then asked how he and Kylee met. Greg explained that he had met at a park near Angel Street, Attleboro, in February. This park was near his father's residence. Greg continued by explaining that he was looking for new friends, which prompted him to speak with Kylee and her friends, Anna and Jacob. This led to Greg Groom and Kylee Monteiro frequently communicating via text message after that evening. Let's see. Greg Groom then explained Kylee was in a tough spot with her friends and family, which led to her staying at the residence. Okay, this next sentence I'm not going to read aloud because it's an allegation about her family that there's no evidence to. So, When asked when he and Kylee began having an intimate relationship, Greg Groom explained after approximately 2 months. When asked to describe the relationship between he and Kylee, Greg indicated that it was, quote, started off strong, unquote. He explained that the relationship began to strain as he started to notice her becoming manipulative. He explained that Kylee would often manipulate people emotionally to get things that she wanted. Isn't this exactly what a narcissist would say, or that an abuser would say, that, oh, you're being manipulative? That sounds like something exactly they would say. Hey, Sunday Doodles, so good to see you. So good to see you. Oh my goodness, neat. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Uh-uh. Due to this behavior, Greg Groom began to, quote, drift away, unquote, from Kylee, approximately 2.5 months to 3 months into the relationship. Kylee indicated that he attempted to end the, no, sorry, Groom indicated that he attempted to end the relationship with Kylee, which prompted her to state that she was pregnant. Okay. You don't just say that. It don't prompt her to say that. She might have been scared of telling him that, but she's not. I don't like how that's written, but I'm sure that's what he said, to prompted her to say that she was pregnant. Greg Groom stated that she was lying about the pregnancy, as there was no proof that she constantly lied to him. When asked how he felt about the news that she was pregnant, Greg stated that he was shocked and that he did not know what to do. He continued by explaining that Kylee indicated that she had gone to the hospital with her sister Faith, where she learned she was pregnant with a boy. Greg stated that he did not believe that, due to it being too early to determine the gender. I think if there's a blood test that you can determine the gender that early, but I'm really not positive about that. And you guys, when I was looking for, when I put my lives together, I will find the newspaper article, right? And then I will copy it and put it in YouTube so I can find the YouTube video for us, so we won't have to watch the video from the news site because it has commercials, right? And I know if we watch it on YouTube, we won't have to watch the commercials. But, and so, they so when I put in, one of the names of the articles was boyfriend hurts pregnant girlfriend, or something close to like that. There was so many videos that came up. It was disgusting. I mean, so many, more than you can ever imagine. And that really hurt my heart too. I knew that this happened, of course, but I didn't know how prevalent it was until that moment when I saw all of those videos. Um, so it says, when asked if the relationship got better or worse, so I guess that meant after she told him she was pregnant. But it says Greg indicated that it was getting worse. He stated that Kylie lies increased and that it was, quote, effortless, unquote, for her. Greg indicated that they would have daily arguments at his residence and denied them becoming physical. When asked if anyone had stepped in or witnessed these arguments, Greg stated that no one had stepped in, but he knew people had heard them. Okay, so so he says he then identified Kylie Monteiro's friend Anna as someone who had heard the arguments. Okay, but she's just a teenager herself. But you're telling me that his brother and his grandparents lived with him, and, well, I guess that it could have been in the shed. That's true. And maybe they didn't realize that was what was going on. But I was just thinking, if it was like a single family small home and it was that bad, that his family surely would have heard that. Um Oh, Aaron says, Mo, it's a NIPT test, usually for chromosomal tests done early in pregnancy can determine gender. Thank you so very much, Aaron. I thought that was right, but there's so much that I put into my brain with research and cases and rabbit holes. It's hard to determine if I really did see that or hear that, or if it's just my brain making up stuff again, But it says Greg Groom then stated that before Kylee ran away, quote, ran away, that it wasn't in quotation marks, but I added that because we know she didn't run away. But it says he was on the phone with Faith, so Kylie's sister, who was being told that he was cheating on her with Anna. He continued by explaining that he stopped talking to Anna a few months ago, approximately April, for the same reason. Oh, so he's saying that two of these girls that he had relationships with, that they could manipulate and lie. So that's just his bad choices, right? No, I think that it's his misinterpretations. But anyways, it says Greg Groom explained that he began speaking to Anna in early June to see if she could help him out with issues between him and Kylee. Doesn't this seem like well, they are youngsters, right? Just 17, 18, and he's 22. He should be a little bit more mature, anyways. But this all seems so juvenile, doesn't it? And then to think what happened later, I don't know. Greg then explained that Kylee had come over to his residence during the afternoon hours of August 6. He explained that she had been at the Bethesda house, who provided her with a lift to his residence. Greg explained that she was there due to being 9 weeks pregnant. So he doesn't even know her weeks. She was 11 weeks. To which he believed he was the father. Well, 2 weeks ago she was 9 weeks, so that's right. When asked if he was excited about being the father, Greg indicated that he was excited. He went on to explain that it was tough because they did not have anywhere to go and that she was not allowed at his residence. When asked why he believed her to be pregnant, Greg stated that he had seen medical paperwork and that she is currently 9 weeks pregnant. Greg explained that once he learned that she was pregnant, he began saving money for a place for them to live. Greg then explained that on August 7th, he and Kylee spent the entire day searching for places for Kylee to stay. He explained that they had reached out to several of Kylie's friends and family members but were unsuccessful. He also explained that they had talked to Kylie's sister Faith on August 6th and 7th regarding a place for her to stay. On the night Kylee went missing, Greg Groom explained that he saw her walking on County Street towards Reservoir Avenue. He explained that he remained at the top of his driveway and that it was the last time he spoke with her. This led Greg Groom to describe another time Kylee had walked away from his residence down County Street. Greg explained that he, Anna, and Kylee were in a vehicle together when an argument ensued. He stated that the argument was due to Kylee believing Anna was getting in between her and Greg's relationship. Greg explained that Kylee walked down the street but later returned and came back to his residence. That's okay, Brat. Good to see you. No problem at all. When asked a second time if he and Kylee had ever had a physical altercation, Greg Groom indicated that they had one previously. Oh, so the first time he denied it, but now a little bit of truth is coming out. He explained that he was trying to talk to Kylee, which led to a verbal argument. During the argument, he attempted to remove Kylee Monteiro's phone from her hand, to which he stated, "She made it out to look like I was abusing her, hitting her. She said I put my knee on her chest so she couldn't breathe, when all I did was grab her arm so she could put the phone down and we could talk." Take that as what you will, but I just don't believe that he could go from that to doing what he really did to her. When asked if Kylee would go to Reservoir after leaving Groom's, he stated that it was possible. He indicated that she had been talking about camping in Rehoboth so she could be close to Greg Groom. Greg Groom went on to state that she did not have a tent with her when she left the residence. He continued by stating that he had shown her places to camp in the area approximately 1 month ago, which included the area around the reservoir. Let's see here. Greg was again asked if anything physical had happened between him and Kylee. Greg denied anything physical happening between he and Monteiro. He again reaffirmed that the last time he had seen Kylee was walking on County Street towards Reservoir Avenue. Greg also denied an accident happening on the night Kylee was last seen. He also denied knowing where she was. Investigators then asked Groom numerous times to get whatever was bothering him off his chest. Groom remained silent, fidgety, and avoided eye contact. After several minutes, Groom retold in the story about trying to get the phone from her. He explained that she was making it look like he was abusive and that it did not make him feel good. So he wanted to go back over the story where he supposedly just was trying to take her phone out of her hands. So he's trying to set the stage, in my opinion. Um, I know, Nate. It doesn't make any sense at all. He's trying to set the stage for what they might find out later, in my opinion. Detective Montgomery then asked Groom to walk him through the day Kylee walked away from the residence. Greg explained he woke up to the house around 8:30 to 9 a.m. while Kylee slept in the shed. So he couldn't even sleep out. They could have slept in separate beds, but he's just going to leave her sleeping in the shed while he's all nice and comfy in the house. I don't like that either, but Greg changed his story, saying that there was an incident a few months ago where Greg and Kylee were arguing. Kylee was texting friends on her cell phone, and Greg said that he tried to take the phone from her hands. He then grabbed her arm. Greg demonstrated how he grabbed Kylie's arm. He used his left hand and grabbed his right wrist, simulating grabbing Kylee. Greg said that he and Kylee were constantly arguing. During the interview, Groom said that he had gone with Kylee to the reservoir on Reservoir Avenue to look at future campsites. Groom said that Kylee wanted to camp and be close to Groom. Groom said that Kylee went out to the shed and took photographs of the injuries to her wrist. She then sent them out on social media, telling her friends that Groom was abusing and hitting her. Groom said this occurred 2 months ago. So, how many times has he told this story now? 3 times? Brat says, I can't wait to know what this reasoning was for taking 2 beautiful lives from this earth coward. Absolutely. Absolutely. Teacup cracking, yes, I think he did live in the shed. But for some reason, he's wanting to put distance between them two for that night for some reason. Okay, Aaron, thank you. I hope you have a good day. I asked Groom to tell me about the day Kylee walked to the end of the driveway onto County Street. Groom said that Monteiro slept in the shed and Groom slept inside of the house. Groom said that he woke up between 8:30 and 9 in the morning and went to check on Kylee. Greg said that he wanted to give Kylee food and water. Groom said that he and Kylee tried calling family and friends looking for a place for her to go. Groom said that Kylee stayed all day and left at 1900 hours, so he's saying that she left at 7 o'clock again, but we know that she texted her sister at least and some friends too, saying that he had pulled her hair and choked her, and if anything happened to her, that it was Greg, right? So he's saying she left 45 minutes before she even made those texts. But anyways, it says, I asked Greg if Kylee made plans to have someone pick her up. Greg stated that Kylee had called her sister Faith, but didn't know what the plan was. At 12:10 p.m., Greg advised that he wanted to talk with his attorney, and the interview ended. So that was the first interview on, I believe it was the 11th, maybe. And so then her sister Faith talks him into coming back down and talking to them again, I believe. So it says the last person to speak with and see Kylee was Greg Groom on 8/7/25 at 1900 hours. Kay Monteiro has remained silent on social media since 8/7/25 1900 hours. Lieutenant Brock Morissette of the Massachusetts State Police Detectives Unit was notified and responding to the station. Upon arrival, MSP detectives was sent to 107 County Street and were given consent to search the property for Kylee. Sergeant Casey and Sergeant Brock Morissette, along with several canines, and searched the resident and surrounding area for Kylee with negative results. I remained in the station and assisted with conducting interviews of witnesses. On 8/13/2025, the second day of the investigation, the Massachusetts State Police and detectives and Rehoboth police officers continued the investigation. So this says there's a state police report, but I don't have that. But it says on 8/14/2025, the third day of the investigation, the Massachusetts State Police detectives, MSP CERT, Stimlex Search and Rescue continued the investigation. A command post was established at the Dighton Rehoboth Regional High School. The state police search was in command of the search while the MSP detectives continued to interview witnesses. So this goes into yesterday. And it says on 8/19/2025, Greg Groom came into the station with Faith Monteiro for an interview. So that her sister Faith that we saw. Um, let's see here. Detective La Jolla and Detective John Pina escorted Groom and Faith into the interview room adjacent in the booking room. Detective La Jolla advised Groom of his Miranda rights. Groom waived his rights, signing the form agreeing to speak with him. During the interview, Greg Groom stated that he was in the shed with Kylee on 8/6/2025. He admitted to having a verbal altercation with Kylee. Groom stated that at one point he had pushed Kylee. This caused her to hit her head on the shed door. Okay, side note, how many times have we heard when women end up deceased that they are pushed and hit their head and it causes such trauma that they pass away? I don't. Hey, Trixie's Creations for you. How are you? It's good to see you. But we hear that that happens so much, and I would just like to know if Aaron was still here, how possible that was to actually happen that somebody could die from being pushed and hitting their head. I know that that happens, but why do they always give that as an excuse? You guys know? It says later in the interview, Greg Groom was shown a text message from Kylee to Faith. In that text message, Kylee told Faith the following, quote, "He threw me on the ground, pulled my hair, and strangled me. My phone's at 4%. If I die, it was Greg," unquote. Greg Groom read the text message aloud, and then Greg stated that was on Wednesday. He denied pulling Kylie's hair or strangling her. Greg then admitted that after he pushed her, Kylee fell to the ground. He then went on to say that Kylee was attempting to send a voice message to someone. Greg Groom said that he hit Kylie's phone out of her hand to prevent her from sending the message. Oh, so that's why he went over that yeah, Aaron, minimizing their role in the death. That's exactly why he went over that previous incident so many times, because he wanted to act like that's what happened this time. So it says, based on the facts and circumstances, there is probable cause to believe that 2 months ago, Greg Groom grabbed the cell phone out of Kylee Monteiro's hand and then grabbed her arm. Greg Groom admitted that on 8/6/2025, he pushed Monteiro, causing her to hit her head on the door. Greg Groom said that there was an injury to the back of Kylie's head. This story changed after he was told a text message from Kylee to her sister. He then admitted to pushing Kylee. Greg Groom is being charged with the following: those aggravated charges that I was telling you about, and intimidation of a witness. So this was for the pushing and things like that. That's what he was first arrested for. Remember? So that's what I have about that. But remember, he was, I don't have the part where he finally admitted to what he did. Let me see. I didn't put that in there. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it back. I'll go straight to X. But that was the charges that he was first charged with, and then I believe that he I'll have to find it for you guys. But this morning, so he was in court, and that tells us more too. I'll pull that up so that we can watch that. So that we can watch that video. We learn a whole lot more there, actually. Let me see here.
the date of August 6, 2025 in the town of Rehoboth, been charged with murder, assault and battery on a pregnant victim, aggravated intimidation of a witness, juror, police, or court official, and assault and battery on a family or household member. A not guilty will enter. You have the right to an attorney. If you'd like to sign a waiver and represent yourself, retain private.
Let me make sure. Okay. Brat says, "Pardon my French, Mo, but what a little bitch boy to put his hands on a pregnant woman." Well, I'm glad you're saying it and that I can read it because that's absolutely right. Absolutely.
Private counsel, or see whether you qualify for court appointed, sir.
My name is Elliot Levine. I was contacted by CPCS to represent him.
Right. We'll appoint Attorney Levine to represent Mr. Groom. Commonwealth.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Mohan for the Commonwealth. Based on the charge of murder, the Commonwealth is asking that Your Honor hold the defendant without bail. This incident stems from the recovery of a body last evening. The incident started on August 8th when this defendant, Gregory Groom, contacted the Rehoboth Police Department to indicate that his ex-girlfriend, identified as 18-year-old Kylee Monteiro, was missing. Mr. Groom reported that Miss Monteiro was at his house, that she was looking for a place to stay. They got into an argument, and that she ultimately left his residence walking down the driveway, and she hadn't been seen or heard from since. Miss Monteiro was known to be very active on social media, and he hadn't heard from her, neither had her friends or family, on any social media in the following days. When Mr. Groom reported her missing, Rehoboth Police responded.
Okay, guys, I had to re-upload that one page that I was missing. But let me show that to you guys. So it says on 8/19/2025 at approximately 8:48 hours, so yesterday. So this was in the morning before 9 o'clock. It says Greg Groom came into the Rehoboth Police Department with Kylee Monteiro's sister, who identified as Faith Monteiro. They came in for a follow-up interview related to Kylee, who was still missing. On 8/19 at approximately 9 o'clock, Massachusetts State Police Detective John Pena and Detective Mike La Jolla escorted Greg Groom and Faith Monteiro into the interview room. Detective advised Groom that the interview would be audio and video recorded. Detective La Jolla advised they got this wrong. It should be Groom, of the Miranda rights from a prepared form. Greg Groom waived his constitutional rights, signing the form, agreeing to talk with the detectives. A short time into the interview, Faith exited the interview room. You guys, when I was reading that report before and it said that Faith had went in there with him, I was so worried that she had heard all this bad stuff too, but I guess that she's hearing it now, but at least she can. You guys feel me? You know what I'm saying? I was worried about that. But it says during the interview, Groom admitted to murdering Kylee and had drawn a map on a piece of paper as the location to where Kylee was located at Groom's residence at 107 County Street. So he drew a map to where she was, and we're going to hear more about how she was found. You guys, if Faith hadn't spoken to him and gotten him to come down that day, who knows if she would have ever been found or if he would have admitted to this. So bless her heart. You know, you guys could tell in those videos that I played that they were so worried about their sister, and that's all that they wanted, and they were her biggest advocates. Teacup Kraken says, I have so many questions. Did his family suspect or know anything? That is a very great question because she was buried 5 feet down. So you know that it took him a while to dig that. So they see him digging a hole and his girlfriend is missing. And also, did he dig that hole prior to when she was killed? I think that's a good question too for premeditation. But they see this and his girlfriend's missing and they don't think it's a coincidence. but it says on 8/19/25, the Massachusetts State Police and Rehoboth Police executed a search warrant at 107 County Street. During the search of the property, human remains were located in the area which was described by Groom. And then it says, based on Groom's admission of murdering Kylee Monteiro and the recovery of human remains at 107 County Street, Greg Groom is charged with murder. So I wanted to show you guys that one page that I had left out, and now we'll go back to him in court this morning.
To the scene and took a report and then began an investigation. In the upcoming days, when Ms. Monteiro failed to update any of her social media accounts, the police began to continue in their investigation and ultimately brought Mr. Groom in for an interview. Mr. Groom reported that Ms. Monteiro was approximately 11 weeks pregnant, and she told him that he was the father of the baby, that on August 6th, she had left a residential program and took a ride share to his house. She was looking to stay with him, and an argument ensued about whether or not he would allow her to stay on his property. When the police began to question him and other family members, they learned from Ms. Monteiro's sister that on August 6th, when she had arrived at his house, that there was an altercation between Mr. Groom and Ms. Monteiro. Ms. Monteiro texted a sister that he threw me on the ground and pulled my hair and strangled me. My phone is at 4%, and if I die, it was Greg. Family members then tried to communicate with Ms. Monteiro and get her to a place of safety, and she didn't respond right away. Ultimately, there was a response from her device that indicated she was attempting to continue to stay at Mr. Groom's residence. There was a search that was conducted on...
Look at him, you guys. Absolutely no remorse, no feelings whatsoever to me. He's just acting like it's just another day, like he's just waiting at the DMV to get his license, you know? That's what it seems like to me, anyways.
14th of Mr. Groom's property at 107 County Street in Rehoboth, which is approximately a 25-acre property. That search involved members of the State Police CERT team, the Air Wing, divers, cadaver dogs, and nothing of significance was found during that search. However, based on the failure of Ms. Monteiro to contact any friends or family, the police continued their investigation. Ultimately, yesterday on August 19th, Mr. Groom reported to the Rehoboth Police Station for an interview. During that interview, he admitted that on August 6th, he had gotten into an altercation with Ms. Monteiro where he pushed her, she fell backwards, and she hit her head. When she attempted to contact an individual, Mr. Groom admitted that he knocked her cell phone out of her hand, at which time he was going to be charged with the 3 offenses for assault and battery on domestic assault and battery on a pregnant person, and for intimidation of a witness. When investigators continued to press Mr. Groom on the whereabouts of Ms. Monteiro, they informed him that they had applied for and were granted a search warrant for an extensive search of 107 County Street. That included not only cadaver dogs, but excavators, chemists from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab, and other investigators, and they informed Mr. Groom that they were prepared to search the property and dig if necessary. Mr. Groom then...
I thought he rolled his eyes for a second, but I think he's looking at something over that way, so I'm not going to wrongfully, say anything, but when you guys hear what's coming up, you'll be even more angry if possible.
Paused. He was given an opportunity to tell the police where Ms. Monteiro's body was located, either by being taken to his property and pointing it out, or drawing a map, or telling the officers where her body was located, as they believed Ms. Monteiro was dead. Mr. Groom ultimately drew a rudimentary map indicating that he got into an argument behind a shed on the property where he was known to stay and where Ms. Monteiro stayed, that during that altercation, Mr. Groom admitted that he stabbed Ms. Monteiro twice in the neck and once in the chest. The stab wound to the chest.
Stabbed her twice in the neck and once in the chest. So it wasn't I think that the supplemental report we read was for the first initial charges for the domestic violence part. Remember, that's what he was charged with at first, and I don't think that we have the supplemental report of him admitting to the murder specifically because we read nothing about stab wounds. And so it wasn't just falling and hitting her head like he first said. Um, and then they're about to say what happened to the knife.
Actually broke the blade of the knife off. He used a kitchen knife to commit the stabbing, and based on that stabbing, Miss Monteiro was deceased.
So he actually broke the knife off when he stabbed her in the chest. Imagine being that angry. Oh, you guys. And it wasn't just his girlfriend, it was his baby too. His baby too.
Mr. Groom indicated to police that he then spent several hours digging a hole in the woods, approximately 20 yards from where he killed Miss Monteiro, and through the night after he dug, when the sun came up, he then pushed her body into the hole and covered it up. He drew on the map the approximate location of Miss Monteiro's remains. Officers who were conducting the search warrant then went to the shed. They noticed there was a large pile of brush right next to the shed. That was what Mr. Groom used to cover up the site of the murder, to cover up blood that was ultimately recovered, and physical evidence was recovered from the scene where the police alleged the stabbing occurred. About 20 yards away in the woods, there was another large pile of brush with feet upon feet of trees, cut down trees that were piled up. Underneath that pile, the police located a rectangular hole that appeared that had been recently disturbed dirt. When the police ultimately called in medical examiners to uncover that hole, a body consistent with Kylee Monteiro was discovered approximately 5 feet underground. Miss Monteiro's remains were recovered last evening, and her body is at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner undergoing identification process and undergoing an autopsy. Based on this case, the defendant's confession and the prior domestic, the Commonwealth asks this court to hold the defendant without bail.
No argument, Your Honor.
Trying to be held without bail.
And any date that is convenient for counsel for a probable cause hearing.
About 30 days out.
Sure, whatever date works for you.
About September September 9th.
That's fine. Problem passed.
Oh, can we do the 10th instead, Your Honor?
Whatever day works for you.
Thank you.
September 10th, the probable cause, courtroom 3, defendant is held without bail.
So they did hold him without bail, and then September the 10th is the probable cause hearing. Kraken, if you're still here, do you know about there was Ashley Elkins, you guys remember I spoke about her, and I think it was in January, and she was the cosmetologist, and she had the two little boys. Remember, she went missing, and they ended up searching the landfill for her. They couldn't find her, but they did charge her ex-boyfriend with her murder. Well, they had a probable cause hearing for her the other day in Michigan, and we learned so much during that. Maybe we could go over that again, go over that sometime, what's come out about that. But Teacup Kraken, my question is in Massachusetts, the probable cause hearing, do you learn a whole lot in that too? I'll definitely keep up with that for us. It's it's awful, you guys. I know it was really loud. Um, no, Aaron, there was no charges for that. Let me see what the charges ended up being. Let me look at my notes. Murder, so it wasn't first degree or anything. They just said murder, and then assault and battery on a pregnant victim, aggravated intimidation of a witness, police officer, or court official, and assault and battery on a family or household member. That was his charges. That's what they ended up being. And I'm wondering why he was first charged yesterday afternoon with just intimidation of a witness, but then this morning it ended up being aggravated intimidation of a witness. So I'm wondering why those charges went up. Um, So I think that that's all that I have about that case for you guys, but I'll definitely keep up with it. Please continue to pray for her sisters. We saw Faith and Catherine, who goes by Kitty. We saw them speaking out for Kylee so very much, and I think she has another sister too. Because I saw some about her on her TikTok, and she just wasn't in any of the videos. So she might not live near there or anything. And lovely chatting with you too, Debbie. Well, thank you for coming by. Thank all you guys for coming by and listening to me. Yesterday, I had it on my heart so bad to share about her, you guys. She was still missing at this time. I didn't know any of this had happened. I didn't know that Faith, Kylie's sister, had talked Gregory into coming back to the police department, and then there ultimately being a confession and then finding her and everything. But I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I was trying to think of how I could share my bubble up with somebody who could screen share for me. And I was trying to think of everything so that I could share about her. It was on my heart so bad, but everything happens for a reason. And today we got, she was found last night, thank goodness, and we got to see, you know, Teacup Kraken says, I'll have to look into it. I'm definitely going to follow this case. Please, please do. And if you see anything before I see it, please email me if you don't mind, because she's definitely on my heart too, because she was just a baby, you guys. 18 years old and having a baby. It's two lives here that were lost. Um, I do have a good story for us now with a good ending. It was on August the 7th, and a lady was riding her bicycle, and a car hits her. And it knocks her off her bicycle, and a man gets out and tries to drag her to his car, and she has some pretty bad injuries, but she ends up fighting him off, and she's able to get away, and she calls 911 and is able to give a good description of him, and they end up arresting him. But you guys, he's 24-year-old Timothy Olness, and this is in Richland County, South Carolina, and he ends up getting $100,000 surety bond, and he bonds out. So it's good that she thank you so much, Teacup Kraken. I would really, really appreciate that. All of my past cases, I try to learn the updates for you guys each time, but it's hard sometimes. So I would really, really appreciate that. Um, and Van dropped her link to you guys. Please check out her channel. I always support those that support me, and Van Nature Rocks is a big support. So I would really appreciate if you guys could check out her channel too. So he does get out on $100,000 surety bond, and the sheriff is so upset about that. So it's good that she survived, but it's bad that he was out on like attempted kidnapping. But anyways, it gets back to good, you guys, because they have his phone, right? They still have his phone. And while they're looking at his phone, you guys, he has CP on his phone. So now he has a $350,000 bond now. But I want to play this for you guys that tells a little bit more about what I'm telling you guys. And then I'll let you guys go. I know, Brett. It really is a roller coaster ride. I know. Um, well, that's all right, Nature Rocks. We all know what that's like. Well, we appreciate you sharing that your nature with us, your love of nature. I really, really enjoy it. Roberta K, good to see you. How are you? You've made it just in time for the good story part.
Here in Richland County tonight, the sheriff warning residents of the release of a man who was arrested on charges of kidnapping a local woman. Our Shelley Garzone has the story. And we do want to warn you, some of
This was before he was arrested the second time, you guys. So I have this video and then another short video where he was
the
arrested
images you're
again.
about to see could be graphic.
My eyes, she's a hero. She's somebody that, I think most women need to look at, that didn't give up and fought for her safety in her life. And, she's hurt, but she's alive.
This was the aftermath of a recent attack on a Columbia woman on Miles Road. Investigators say the victim was riding her bicycle when a vehicle hit her. The driver of the vehicle then turned around and came back to where she was lying in the road.
I forgot that they showed her injuries, you guys. Trigger warning. But you guys saw how badly she was injured, and he was released on bond to possibly do it again to somebody. So we know he hurts women, allegedly, and we know that he has CP on his phone. So he has problems with women and children.
According to deputies, the suspect, 24-year-old Timothy Yolness, got out of the vehicle and hit the woman in the face before placing her in a chokehold. They say he then tried to drag her into his vehicle, but the victim fought back and got away.
He's a danger to our community. I would hope everybody in the Columbia area looks at his picture and recognizes who he is and understands that he's dangerous.
Yolness was released on a $100,000 surety bond. He must also wear an ankle monitor, something the sheriff does not agree with.
And that's one thing that we asked for when our investigators worked this case and talked to the judge who set the bond, is that he was a danger. We explained all of that, and we asked that he be held with no bond. Unfortunately, $100,000 bond was set on him. He immediately got out.
With many residents questioning how someone can be released after a crime of this nature, I sat down with attorney Jack Swerling to explain the factors of setting a bond.
Danger to the community and a risk of flight are the big factors. Prior record is a big factor, and the nature of the crime itself.
Swerling says the use of GPS ankle monitors has become more common to ensure someone released is staying in the area and away from victims.
The basis of the revocation.
I don't know his past record, but the crime in itself was bad enough. You would think that his bond, he wouldn't have had a bond, or at least it would have been higher than that.
Bond is that when you sign a bond, you're agreeing to keep the peace. You're agreeing not to be rearrested. So if you get rearrested, there's a good chance that a judge is going to revoke your earlier bond, number one. Number two, there are certain crimes now, if you're out on bond for certain crimes and you get arrested for a list of other crimes, you're not entitled to bond at all. You're going to be staying in jail. There's no way to get bond.
The Sheriff's Department encourages the public to stay vigilant, always be aware of your surroundings, and travel in pairs.
If he does do this again, it's not on us. We did our job. We found him. We
Exactly.
arrested him.
Exactly.
Let him out. So that's on the court system.
Shelley Garzone, News 19, WLTX.
The sheriff wasn't happy about it either, was he, guys? Well, he's a little bit happier in this next video that I'll show you guys. Let me see here. So the next, when they had his phone and they found the CP, now he's charged with third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. And his new bond is $350K. You would think that they would totally revoke his previous bond and not give him one on this one, because, you know what I'm saying? I know you all feel me.
Has been set again for a Richland County man who was accused of kidnapping and assaults.
He now faces charges of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. News 19's Shelley Garzone checked in with a local attorney to break down how bonds are set.
He's definitely a threat to our community, and I want everybody to look at his picture, know who he is, and understand that he is a threat, and hopefully he will not get out.
24-year-old Timothy Olness appeared in court Tuesday after being rearrested. Olness was previously released on bond after allegedly kidnapping and assaulting a Columbia woman. His new bond set for $350,000.
This charge is appropriate. However, I wish last week when we had a bond hearing, the bond would have been denied when he was charged with the kidnapping. As a result of him being arrested last week, we were able to get his phone, did a search warrant on it, and we found over 600 photographs and videos, basically child pornography.
600, you guys. And my little brother, he works for the state police, and that's what he does, is work in the cyber unit. And that's what he does. And I asked him because I thought that a video counts as so many photos, but no, it's each one separate. So 600 videos and photos. That is so much. Exactly, Brett. You guys tell him. Yeah, Nature Rocks. I knew I liked him. You guys saw a few minutes ago. He was doing our press conference, and I watched that whole press conference, and I really liked him after
Residents
that.
online voicing their surprise that the judge set bond in Tuesday's hearing. News 19 spoke with attorney Rhodes Bailey, who broke it all down.
Typically, the judge will look at the nature of the crime, how serious it is, and he or she will determine whether or not this person is a danger to the community. And the more potential danger there is to the community, the higher the bond typically goes, right up to the point of them maybe denying.
Bailey says that in some cases, a judge can choose to revoke a defendant's bond.
The solicitor's office can file a motion to say, Your Honor, this person shouldn't be out on bond because they are continuing to be a danger to the community. And as evidence, they can cite this new crime. They can move to revoke anybody's bond.
With bond now set at $350,000, Bailey explained the options for payment.
There are situations when the judge may insist that they pay the full amount, a cash bond, and there are other situations where they may get a bonding company involved and they can pay a percentage of it. But even if this gentleman paid a percentage of this bond, it is a substantial bond.
Shelley Garzone, News 19, WLTX.
All right, Shelley, thank you so much. And as of last check tonight, he is still behind bars.
Well, thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. I think that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out with me today. And again, I'm sorry about yesterday. But if I ever have to, I left a message in the chat telling you guys why I had to postpone. But also, if you guys want to check me out on Facebook, I also left a message there. And I also, when I share my posters here on my community tab, the flyers, you guys can always screenshot that and share on your own platforms, and you don't have to credit my channel at all, ever. You can just share the information that I share. But I also share on Facebook usually, so if it's easier for you to share there, you can just go and follow me on Facebook, and then you can share it that way. I think that's all that I have for you guys today, but if you ever have any other cases that you think that we could bring awareness to, please email me too at any time, or you can leave comments under any of my videos, and I usually I have my notifications on for that, so I usually do see it. Thank you, Neat. Thank you, and thank you all so very much for coming. And don't forget to say your prayers and to pray for Kylie's sisters for sure, you guys. I can't even imagine, and I don't want any of us to ever know firsthand, friends or foes. I don't want any of us to ever know what they're going through firsthand. No. So remember to say your prayers and take your vitamins, right? But consult your doctor about that. I got to leave that disclaimer. But I love you guys, and I'll see you